Inside I heard the trumpets call, a salute to the champions on the wall. And in the jazz of squalls and in passion brawls she danced.
So you're going in the gates. Swift immediately moves between the iron gate and you because the gate is iron. And so he positions himself between you and the gate, but even being that close to the gate just really uncomfortable for you because you realize that if you touch iron, your fairy powers are gone. And if they use something to actually hurt you that's made of iron, it's going to really hurt. It's going to be like somebody stabbing you with a hot poker or something instead of just a piece of metal, which would still hurt, but it'd be really bad. As you're going in, the servants are taking any of the gifts you want to turn over. Several people are keeping their gifts, saying that they are specifically for someone that they're meeting here. Some people are surrendering their gifts, and the servants are not making a big deal about it. Nobody is checking really weapons. You do actually see several people coming in wearing what looks like probably maybe knives or something like that. You figure the magically active practitioners have probably maybe got knives or maybe guns. You're not really sure. Really strongly active practitioners, remember, could only use something like a revolver. So you do not see anybody carrying a Glock or anything like that on their hip. Several people seem to be bringing +1s that are very obviously bodyguards. Their +1 is not...
You're not the only one.
Yeah, you're not the only one. That's right. So you head in, walk up the little cement path. There's trees. There's tables laid out with lots of food. There's a bar over in the corner with all kinds of bottles behind it. People are standing around talking. There's sounds like kind of like a string quartet maybe playing somewhere where you cannot see. And you see lots of people just milling about. Anybody in particular want to do anything?
I do relinquish my gift to the...
Okay,
cool.
I'll second for you.
All right.
I'm just going to walk around and kind of get the lay of the land and visit with Papa Legba at the...
Okay. You're walking around. Legba's kind of telling you, oh, this is a beautiful house, beautiful house. I really like the styling and especially the way that they have done the Spanish moss. It truly gives a feeling of old New Orleans. Let's go get a drink. And so he walks over and, gets a glass of red wine, asks you what you'll have, and that kind of stuff. Starts talking to you. Starts asking you about being a warden and working for the White Council, so I guess he kind of knows who that is. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I like it. I've been doing it for a while, but as you can tell, I'm young.
Well, young is merely a number, my friend. Age sometimes comes from the wisdom that you've attained. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm just investigating, just looking around the place, trying to just get the
Swift.
lay of the land.
You can go up into the actual house. The house is beautiful. Lots of tall glass windows, chandeliers, lots of crystal. You go inside. It looks like everything's an antique. There's a sitting room where a few people have kind of posted up and are sitting around talking. There's several doors that lead off from the main hallway that are locked. Now, of course, it's not a big deal for you, but obviously, you're not supposed to go into those. So there's a couple areas. There's a library, mundane library. Some of the books are, things like,
pictures of families and family pictures.
Oh, absolutely. Lots of them. Yes, on the mantles.
Great
and stuff
place,
like that.
too.
Right there, yeah. You're going to do that?
Yeah.
I need a stealth check.
Ooh, let's go.
Ooh, do I have still? Yeah, I got +1.
+1, +2?
Yeah, +1.
That'll work. Ooh, that's not wow. That ain't bad, man.
I'm coming. It was important. That's what
That's right.
This was our mission
You
tonight.
kind of reach into your pocket and slip it up there. Swift kind of gets a funny smirk on his face that you can tell. You can kind of see it a little behind his mask.
How big is it?
Oh, it is. I mean, it is noticeable.
That man went in there like, excuse me, I'll take your gift. Like, no, this is for someone in particular. And just goes in there and it's like, for the world.
Everybody should enjoy it. So yeah, you probably, there's a bunch of pictures kind of sitting on the mantle of different people, and you can take yours and kind of put it in wherever you want to put it. Right in the middle. Got it.
I like the idea that you just takes down someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I will steal it.
And Swift actually
Stick that
runs
in the closet.
interference on this
Yeah,
for you. He
yeah.
kind of stands in the way so you can get it up there, and then he snickers. You guys are drinking probably beer, or what are you interested in?
Yeah. Well, no. So the Iron Gate scares me. So
Yeah,
I'm probably
it
just drinking water because I know if I drink too much, I will actually accidentally fall into the iron. So.
Well, remember, you can always call on the power of the autumn night, but you'll owe a boon to the autumn king. So yeah, it just depends on how big in debt you want to be. So yeah, okay. So you're drinking water. Swift is having probably a beer or something like that, walking around. Lots of really attractive women. Well, as far as you can tell, because they're all wearing masks. But what you can see looks pretty good. So
Yeah, I'm mingling
mingling.
people.
Cool. Give me a rapport check.
Great.
Let's see where we are. Swift is being strong and silently behind you, making sure nobody gets behind you and attacks you.
I'm about to
kind of
all
his job.
negatives right here, baby.
Yeah, pretty good.
Two.
Yeah.
You strike up a conversation with an auburn-headed lady in a green dress. It's all sequins. She seems pretty nice. She's talking about how her family has a condo in the downtown area, and that she loves it down there. She loves the city. She's only been in the city for about the last. Her family's only been here for like 20 years. She grew up in New Orleans, but they're relatively newcomers. It's just kind of innocuous, nice stuff. Are you going to try and touch her?
Yeah.
When you do, you get a practitioner. So yeah, and when you do that, she kind of looks a little startled, and then she goes, "Oh, are you a member of the Devonees?"
No.
Well, I didn't recognize you. I hadn't seen you around at any of the meetings or anything like that. I was just surprised. Interesting.
Just a guest.
And so she says, "Well, and it looks like she's going to try and talk shop. So, in particular, who is your trainer, your master?"
Well, I've learned some things all around the way. My
Self-taught. Do tell. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
she immediately starts kind of asking you questions about, seems a little more interested in who you are and asking you things about what you do. How much do you want to give away?
not a whole lot, just generalities.
Oh yeah, I'm a musician. Oh, a musician, and she
Yeah,
likes
and-
that because that's the bad boy of the family, right? And so she seems kind of mildly interested in at least chatting with you, things like that. Swift again is behind you, very silently watching what's going on. You are doing what?
I am a +1,
Mhm.
so
I'm doing what I want.
When you come in, I need I don't know if it'd be alertness.
because I probably don't recognize every member of my group
Right.
here, but I recognize a couple of them.
Right. I'm gonna
And
go.
while I enjoy their company,
Yeah.
trouble tends to follow me.
Right. I'm gonna ask you to do a
Trouble is handled.
rapport check. I need a rapport check.
Rapport,
Yes.
then that'll come out to 0.
Okay. You notice that when you walk in the door, very slightly, Anne-Marie stiffens. Okay. She seems a little bit uncomfortable. This may not be quite her kind of area where she's used to.
Same.
And then when she notices Anastasia, who's, she's kind of made it obvious that she's White Court vampire. She even seems a little more nervous. And so when she sees Volt and Anastasia, she kind of starts directing you away to a different area. Like she doesn't want to be near a White Court vampire. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
What are you doing?
well,
Gabriel Beaumont is there, by the way. Yes.
Yes. I kind of, sort of splitting my focus, casually making conversation with him, just catching him up.
Yeah. He's actually a little underdressed. He's a little more casual. It's more like kind of a tweed jacket and things like that.
Nice.
And he's wearing nice slacks and he's wearing a tie and he has a mask and it's kind of just a very simple mask. But he is sitting there talking to you, asking you about where you're from, when you came to the city, that kind of stuff. He's telling you about a little, he hasn't grown up here. He's only been here for about the last 10 years. He's been working with the church for the entire time, that kind of stuff. They gave him, of course, a La Laurie mansion because he's the one who can pacify the ghosts and things like that. And chatting. Give me a rapport check.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
it's a 4.
Okay.
Wow.
Ah,
You get the feeling that he is keeping the conversation very light. He's not opening up a whole lot. Just kind of the general surface conversation. He is making good conversation, but but he's definitely keeping the conversation simple and light. Is what it is. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He also seems to be looking around a lot too, watching what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. I similarly am kind of trying to do the same thing where I'm trying to appear to be engaging, but really I want to be focusing on listening. I want to know if I can pick up on any threads of conversation. I want to know if our stunt at Geotronics has caused a stir in this community anywhere, and see if I can pick up on
Let me get...
anyone talking about that.
Right. Give me an empathy check.
Oh, I don't think I have that.
Because you're trying to read people.
Alright. Good. -1.
You haven't heard anything. Nobody seems really to be discussing it, or nobody seems really nervous. You do see Anne-Marie, and you notice that she looks decidedly uncomfortable. You do see Anastasia. I think you met her. Did you? Don't know.
I don't
I mean,
think
the
Maybe you didn't meet
initial
Anastasia.
night
I think I
that
told
we
him
ran
about-
into
You
that,
do
I
see a
don't
guy in a silver dragon mask, and you're kind of sure you know who that
the
is.
gold,
Yeah.
gold suit. Like,
Right.
Silver
Yeah, you're
and
pretty
gold
sure.
robes.
And he's got
very,
this.
very on the nose.
He's got this pretty dark-haired woman on his arm who you're kind of like, oh, that's Anastasia. Yeah, it's not your sister, so that much you know. So, and you do see Della, and she's walking around with this gentleman in a white suit with a red flower. He's wearing a white top hat. He's tall, kind of thin. He's probably got a foot on her.
Is he a disguise, or would I recognize him from when we ran into him?
No, he looks very decidedly human.
Oh, okay.
He's tall. He's a little thin. He's not the guy who walked into the hospital when you were sick. No, he looks like a very nice looking young man. And he is wearing a skull mask, which is kind of interesting. So yeah.
We'll probably go over and mingle, especially since the last time I saw Gabrielle was whenever I invited him when you were sick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you probably head over there to talk to... Okay, she wanders over with Gabriel Beaumont in tow. To talk to you. Anything in particular you want to talk about? No?
Hello, how are you
Hey.
tonight? You look very nice.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
You remember Gabrielle, right?
Yes, I do. How are you
Gabriel
doing
says hi,
tonight?
kisses your hand. He's kind of old
Oh,
school.
thank
So yeah.
you.
And I
Thank
haven't
you.
had the pleasure, I think, of meeting your...
Oh, you have met my date.
And he reaches over and grabs your hand and kisses it and says, "My name is Legba. We have met once before." In this kind of deep, sonorous voice. Yeah.
We have. I
This-
do remember this.
He says, "This is an interesting gathering. I sense a lot of magic in the room.
Yes.
It's quite interesting. And as well as some very subtle predators." And he kind of looks over towards Volt's date. And then he also looks over towards this woman who is being followed around by these two dark-haired guys that are dressed identical.
Have we noticed that person before?
No,
Oh, okay.
you've never met her. He says, yes, definitely some subtle predators. Though it looks like everyone might be a predator tonight. And yes, definitely there's kind of a little bit of electric tingle tonight. Something's going on.
I get.
Question, Darwin, did you ever let us know that it was you?
No.
We don't
You guys
know
know.
who's going.
So we
No.
think
Right.
we all,
think we're all- yeah,
but we
we
don't
all-
know
we
he's
all-
there.
yeah,
That's
we
so
all like
great.
that.
Because did any of us tell each other that we had invitations?
Nope.
I didn't tell
Oh,
them.
no,
Those
you know
two
he's
did.
there. Yeah, that's it.
Two did.
I 100% thought I just hit the lottery on
Yeah,
something,
right,
and then
yeah.
Trent was like, "My friends."
Yeah.
Oh no, 100%. That's like
Everyone,
similar
man,
thought
Darwin
process.
was here.
Yeah.
It'd be the whole gang
He's
together.
always
working.
That's right.
Yeah.
Probably just working on something else for someone else.
Yeah.
Do you hear all this and you're just like,
Yeah. Probably not.
Probably not, because my lady is taking me far away from you and
Yeah.
your lady family. So
And Darwin wants
Well, you're
nothing to do
talking
with
about-
me.
And then
Kyle, I need an
think
alertness check real quick.
I'm
When you
feeling
get a
slightly
chance.
guilty because it's like, oh, once I see that all of you are here, I'm like, oh, I could have invited Darwin as my +1, and then we all would have been here.
man, it's been 0 on the dice every
Okay.
roll. No, I got a +2.
Okay,
still,
+2. Right. Oh, you're gonna use that. Oh wait, +2 still. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep rolling 0 every dice roll.
You notice that this guy is walking towards you. He's wearing a beautiful, probably an Armani suit. You know, you guys are all dressed to the nines. This guy is wearing a suit that probably cost double what you guys paid, and it fits him perfectly. It's very sharp, you know, kind of iridescent-y.
Oh,
And
sorry.
he's wearing a mask. It looks kind of like a Greek faceless god kind of mask, you know, with the little leaves that are there, and it's gold kind of. If you've seen the sun god kind of mask where they have the little leaves in it and stuff like that, but it's kind of very nondescript. And he walks up to you. You don't see anybody walking with him, but he walks up to you, and he sticks his hand out. And then he goes, "Son."
Father.
And he shakes your hand and he says, "I see you've been invited to an interesting gathering tonight."
It is certainly interesting.
Yeah.
Lots of folks of power about, I feel.
Be careful. There is something afoot tonight. I know you know, but something is working in the background here, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm not staying long, but I did want to at least come up and say, you've done well. You've done well.
I see it's rare that things take your glance, so I guess I have.
Yes, you have. And I was in town, so I figured I'd at least stop by. Now, who is this lovely vision you have beside you?
I say this is the great Anastasia Malvora.
That Anastasia. And she kind of, she stiffens a little bit beside you, and he looks at her and says, "I was there when your father, mother, and family were killed. I'm sorry I couldn't do anything to stop it. At that time, it was a different world." And she kind of stiffens, and then she kind of relaxes a little bit, and she says, "That means a lot." And he says, "Well, I have to go, but know that I'll be thinking about you. And Anastasia, it was quite nice to meet you." And then he's there 1 minute, and poof, gone the next minute. Which, you know, there's no such thing really as teleportation powers for mortals. You can't just bamf from one place to the other. Except Faravax seems to be able to do that kind of stuff. He does in the books anyway, so yeah. And then he's just gone. And Anastasia goes, "Who was that?"
So I untighten all the muscles in my body.
Yeah.
That was my father.
At which point she turns towards you, and you think you can see behind the mask. Her eyes get really big, and she goes, "Your father is Faravax? Oh, wow. I knew you were related to the dragon somehow, but son of Faravax. Wow."
Yeah, I tend not to talk about it.
Well, she says, and she looks at you and she says, "Well, since you know something about me, let me tell you something about myself. When he said he was there when my family was killed, he was talking about in Russia. I'm that Anastasia."
Oh.
At which point you realize...
My eyes go wide.
Yeah, at which point you realize...
I've seen you in the movie.
Yeah, right. At which point you realize she's a lot older than she looks.
Yeah.
You know, she's much older than she looks. But, you know, White Court vampires, who knows how they age anyway. She's probably, you know, 50, 60... When did that happen? Was that in the 1800s?
No, 19...
Oh, 19 teens, yeah. So she's probably 100 years old at least. Which
doesn't look at a day.
Doesn't look a day over 23. You know, things have held up well. Anyway, but yeah, she says, "Well, that was interesting. I had no idea." And you notice that she's relinquished her gift, by the way. She's not carrying it around with her. Yeah, she says, "Well, I think after that I might need a drink. Escort me to the bar."
Me too.
So yeah, you head over to the bar, grab
I
some
grab her
drink.
arm and
Yeah.
let's go to the bar.
Anybody have anything else particular you're going to do?
Yes,
Yes, Jody.
I'm going to ask Papa Legba if he would be interested in just taking a turn around the
Dance
little
floor?
airy.
I would love to.
Yes.
At which
okay.
point he grabs you, and there is a dance floor set up, and several people are dancing. It's kind of ballroom formal dancing, and yes, he decides he wants to dance a bit. So you
So,
But as we're
what is the
dancing,
height difference
I'm
between the
going
two?
to-
That is the thing. That
literally, he's got a foot on her.
He picks
Okay,
her up
that's-
and just spins her around.
I don't think your character's short. I mean, you're probably 5 foot something, and he's probably 6 something. So yeah, he's got about a foot on you.
Stand on his shoes like a kid dancing with their dad at the wedding.
No, he'll kind of bend down a little bit.
Yeah, right. He's got long arms.
Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
He's, no,
anyway,
he's a. Okay, well, this Papa Legba was very scarecrowish. This guy is a little not scarecrowish. He's
but as we're dancing, I'm gonna say, hey, let me pick your brain a bit about maybe do you know some of these people that I'm not familiar with, so I can kind of.
Well, yes.
still learning.
I recognize Anne-Marie Laveau.
Well,
She is.
I do too.
She and I have been friends for a long time. You could say that I've known her family and we have worked together on many things. Yes, I recognize her. Some of the Devonees I know dabble into the ways of voodoo, but most of them are more classically trained magicians, so I don't know them very well. I think I recognize your friends. There's Bunk, and I believe that's Miranda, and your friend Volt, and look, there's Darwin with Anne-Marie. How interesting. Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, what is that?
And he's kind of, as you're dancing, it's not really fast. As you're dancing, he kind of, spins you around so as you can see all these things. He's very, very graceful, that's for sure. And
Probably all know.
see, well, yeah, right. And so he definitely as he says Darwin, he notices that make sure that you're facing Darwin and Anne-Marie and all that other stuff. Yeah. So he says, now that's an interesting turn of events. And you notice he does. He turns you, and he points you in the direction of what looks like this gentleman. He's wearing a kind of a sea green suit, a dark green suit. It's a little bit sparkly. Give me an alert. Well, no, give me an investigation check, Jody. No, yeah, investigation. Yeah. Never mind. Anyway, you see this guy standing over there. He's got this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous blonde on his arm. And Legba kind of looks and says, Liz, I had not expected to see someone like him here.
What?
That bears remembering.
What is he?
He says, never mind. It's not important. And
Are
then
you sure? There's been some really weird things going on lately.
No. It's as long as there's only one, it's fine. And then he kind of twirls you around the dance floor a bit and changes the subject. Yeah.
Highlander?
I'm thinking ghouls again, but okay.
Actually, he does point out a couple ghouls that are here. He says looks like the head of one of the ghoul families and is there with his wife. Yeah, they're the Lachase clan. He does point them out. But they seem to be on their best behavior.
For memory, the ghouls that we encountered before, were they acting alone or were they participating in the kidnapping of the...
They were being directed, weren't they?
The only ghouls you've really run into were the ones you ran into outside of the cemetery. And then in the cemetery. You didn't run into any of them in Geotronics. Right.
Okay, I think I just was conflating the ghoul movements.
That's all right.
them.
Yeah, hey, there's lots of them.
But did we get a sense at that time that the ghouls were acting independently or were they working with the necromancer?
They seem to be working with the necromancer is
Okay.
what you got the idea, yeah. Which, if you're a necromancer, you probably kill lots of people or have access, and ghouls have to eat like 40 or 50 pounds of meat a day, so that, yeah.
So, after anesthesia and I get our drinks, I do want to kind of... Is there like a balcony
You would
inside?
Yeah, you would have to go up the stairs and see if you can make your way out onto the balcony. So
No,
it would
not outside, like an inside, like little...
not sure. I'm
What's the
following.
room? So like sometimes you have like the big stairs that go up, and then there's
Right,
an inside
and that's what you got.
balcony.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely,
Okay.
there it is, yes.
I want to kind of like usher her or persuade her to like maybe hang out up there instead.
Right.
Since Fairfax dropped like a big warning of
Right. Well, and you can actually make
use.
there's actually a balcony on the second floor where you can actually kind of stand up there and overlook what's going on down below you if you want.
Have a good escape route.
Right. Now, most of the doors upstairs are locked, but they've left at least the door out to the balcony so people can kind of...
I just want a higher advantage to
Right.
see the party goers down below and
Right.
be less out of the
There's actually a couple...
gas chamber or whatever it might have.
Right. Well, there's actually a couple people standing up there in the balcony kind of talking and chatting, a few small groups, and there's another couple out on the balcony that are standing very close to each other, and once in a while the woman will put her head over on the guy's shoulder, so I think they're looking for somewhere kind of romantic to hang out. But yeah, you can definitely head out there and kind of look around. It does give you a good overview. You see little pockets of people talking. You do see that there's a little string quartet, and you see that the warden and her date are dancing on the dance floor. There's several other couples that are out there, but it's very slow dancing. It's not very quick or anything like that. And they seem to be looking around. Don't see anything terribly odd going on.
This one kind of on alert.
Until the front gate is already open, and this woman comes striding in. The guy behind her is wearing torn jeans, biker leathers. He's got this shock of silvery hair. He's it's hard to tell how old he is. She is dressed in nothing but strategically placed, you think they're sequins, but they're probably diamonds. And they just cover the parts that you probably shouldn't show in public, but not by much. And she's got this kind of blue and purple and white hair that's kind of in a shock. It's shaved on one side, shock that kind of comes down this way. Again, she's got like little diamonds on her cheeks. And as you see this, you notice that the servants down at the gate, offer to take something from her, and she just kind of does this and walks in. And the guy behind her has this snide kind of sneer. The first thing you notice about him is he's not a nice guy. Just the way he kind of looks around. He has the movements of a predator, and he's looking around at the different women in the room. Several of the women step behind their dates, just, subconsciously. And a few of them actually step closer towards him where you can see them better, which makes you a little concerned. And several of their dates step in front of them, just kind of protectively. And so the people in the room just sense that this guy is a bad dude and a predator. The woman seems to be almost paying him no mind whatsoever. And she comes striding up the concrete path, reaches out and grabs a flute of champagne and tosses it back, and then grabs another one and puts it back on there and starts walking around. She's got several piercings in her eyebrows. I think there may be a few piercings other places, so it's kind of hard to tell because of the diamonds and the way they're positioned, but you're like, wow, she's not wearing much of anything. And immediately the temperature of several of the men in the room go up a couple degrees because she is smoking hot and she's putting everything on display for you to kind of see. And you're like, wow, she's gorgeous. She's probably a notch above almost every woman in the place when it comes to beauty. And she is just giving off this sex appeal at the time. She comes striding up, seems to be looking around for someone.
And I don't have
I'm
any
just
clue
like,
who this is.
I
Or...
asked the lady who's like I've been talking with. Who the hell is that?
Okay, give me lore checks. This is definitely a lore check time.
Rolling like butt tonight.
Me too.
It's alright, it makes it more fun for me.
I got a 3.
I know.
What
I got
did you
a
get?
6.
3. 0.
0.
Wait, is that our total success or
The total number, what'd you get?
with adding my skill?
Yeah.
Your lore plus your dice roll.
Yes.
Okay, 6.
6.
Well, everybody's so low. I thought I did something wrong.
Okay.
I have a
I
lore of
rolled-
1,
I've
and I
rolled
rolled a
two.
negative.
Oh,
One and I rolled
Do you remember from the books who
Yes.
this is?
It's a werewolf.
No, it's not.
No? Okay.
You don't know
no,
who this.
I
Okay, you don't
I
remember.
remember.
All right.
Never mind.
You're standing there, and
No idea.
the woman sees you kind of eyeballing her, and she immediately changes direction and walks over towards you. And the guy beside her is like sizing you up and down like a piece of meat. And she walks over and she says, "I'm looking for the Autumn Knight. Have you seen him?"
No.
You haven't seen the Autumn Knight. Stop lying to me, little human.
I haven't seen him in the last 5 minutes.
And, in the last 5 minutes. So he's here.
Maybe.
And she kind of narrows her eyes at, "I'm gonna need you to make a discipline check." Okay?
You're this one.
Yeah, you're great. Oop.
Wow.
You're
Good
good at
job.
this one.
I have a 4.
Okay. She looks at you, and you immediately can feel like a chill wind coming off of you. And
I think my thoughts that I used with the fear thing.
huh? You what? Oh, okay. So you're trying to steel yourself against.
Yeah, because I'm.
It keeps getting colder and colder near you, and she's kind of
I
looking
refuse
at
to
you.
shiver.
Well, you only got a +4, so you're having trouble. At which point, Legba reaches up and puts his arm through yours, and immediately the sensation ends. Okay, and you're not cold anymore. And she turns and looks at him and says, "All of these local upstart spirits. Have you seen the Autumn Knight?" And he looks at her and says, "He's in the house. We're on our best behavior here. Remember that." And she goes, "I just want to talk." And so she goes storming up towards the house. Jody, that's the Maeve.
Oh.
The youngest of the
Yes.
Winter women,
Yes.
of the Winter Court.
Winter Court. Yeah.
Yeah. She goes striding up to the house. You're kind of looking around, and she's coming up there. She bursts into the doors. The guy behind her is Lloyd Slate. If you remember, he was a thoroughly unkind, not nice guy. Even the Winter women didn't want to be around him because of the terrible things he did to them. Yeah, he was awful, awful fellow. So yeah, she comes striding in the door, sees you in the other room, and comes walking toward you very purposefully. Lloyd is behind her in his jacket. He's kind of looking you up and down. You notice that Swift bristles immediately and steps kind of to your side. You see him kind of like he wants to reach up and put his armor on and draw his sword or something like that. He's worried. And she says, "Autumn Knight, I hear you are the defender of the upstart court that has started in this city."
Yeah.
Well, as a queen of the Winter Fae, let me welcome you to the family. Though, I do have an offer for you to take to your king. We would love to have the Autumn Court join the Winter Fae rather than being separate. We can offer them our protection and our aid in time of need. Otherwise, I can't promise anything.
Okay.
I'm going to need you to make a
You can do it really, really high. You can get all
A rapport check.
pluses. Here comes 4 pluses. 4 pluses. Boom.
1.
Okay. She's kind of knocked you off your kind of knocked you back a bit because she's making a very veiled threat that you should join her else. And it's a little intimidating. She's a bit scary, and it's really hard to think with her dressed the way she is. And the guy behind her is scary. You notice that he keeps kind of reaching down to his belt and putting his hand on the hilt of this knife or something that he's wearing there and looking at you, and he's kind of looking at your throat, and you're kind of like, he's measuring me for a casket. Swift is just bristling. I mean, he really wants to just take this guy down. And so there's just kind of this little bit of a standoff. The woman in red behind you is kind of looking at this, trying to figure out what's up. And she has taken a couple steps back.
That might be smart.
Yeah. And she says, well, the offer is there. At which point, this gorgeous woman in a beautiful gown, with sequins and diamonds and stuff like that, comes up and steps up and says, it's so good that you could join us, Queen Maeve. I'm so glad you're here. You received the invitation then. And Lloyd Slate, so nice to see you. And he kind of looks her up and down and like he wants to just chew her up and spit her out in a lot of different ways. And she says, yes, I appreciate the invitation. And he says, and so she looks at him and says, or looks at her and says, well, remember, as a signature of the Sealy Accords, we're all on our best behavior here. And so Maeve looks at her and goes, I know, and we wouldn't want to cause any problems. Well, I'm not sure how long we'll be staying anyway, since I've delivered my message. Miss Bella. Well, I'll be getting something else to drink. And so she wanders off. At which point, the woman turns towards you and says, I don't think we've been formally introduced. My name is Bella St. Clair.
Bonk.
Charmed. And so she, puts her hand out and, you can shake it. She says, welcome to the Devonee Mansion. Very interesting. You've drawn the attention of Maeve, the queen of the Winter Fae. Well, one of the queens. Interesting. If you don't mind me asking, what has drawn her attention to you so much?
I mean,
I'm a good-looking dude.
This.
You have a very nice suit. I agree. And, you notice that Swift has kind of stepped behind you and is out of the way so you can talk to this woman. And he's visibly relaxed. And so she says, well, I hadn't thought that was what it was about. But if it is, let me tell you that the Winter Fae have very interesting appetites when it comes to mortals, and especially of the sexual kind. So be careful. You wouldn't be the first mortal to wake up 100 years later, and you've only spent a night in a fairy mound, as we've all read about in the folklore. So be careful. Her kind can be duplicitous and difficult to deal with.
I mean, you jealous a little bit?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Just warning you to be careful.
Oh.
She is on her best behavior.
Sure.
Yeah. And then she goes, huh, nice picture. And she kind of wanders out and heads on out. She's got a glass of wine in one hand. Anybody else doing anything else?
I think, did we all witness that whole interaction?
No, it was in the house, in one of the sitting rooms, so it was kind of out of the public eye. You may have felt the temperature in the house go down by about 10 degrees, but that's probably about the only thing you noticed.
When they all
chilly.
walked away, I turned to Swift and I go, what the?
Well, there's two fairy courts, winter and summer,
Right.
And they're kind of at odds with each other. If we have a large contingent of fae, wild fae, whichever side we throw our lot in with, it could tip the balance of power. We're a small group right now, but as more and more people join the Autumn People, or more and more fae join the Autumn People, we will definitely be someone that will be courted by both courts, or be threatened by both courts. We have to be careful. We definitely should let the king know that the Winter Queen has shown up in person with the Winter Knight in tow to deliver a message.
That was the Winter Knight.
That's the Winter Knight, your counterpart in the Winter Court.
They have bad choices.
Yeah.
He is not a nice fellow. I have heard stories of him. His depravity and violence are legendary among the Fae.
So, all right. So I'm getting bad vibes off of them. Is the
Yeah.
Summer Court any better?
Yes, the summer court tends to be a little bit less, wear diamonds and make threats, but they're just as dangerous. The winter court is the court of ice and, cold and wind. But the summer court is the court of life and sunlight and passion. But remember, an Ebola virus is unchecked, is just as dangerous as a snowstorm. So we'll have to be careful. Bleeding eyes and orifices and things like that. So I'm glad you brought me tonight. I'll definitely have your back for you. He looks a little nervous, and you're not. Probably, if push comes to shove, the only person who's going to be able to take down Lloyd Slate is going to be you. Swift will definitely help you, but he's not going to be up to the challenge because this guy's wearing the Winter Knight's mantle, like you're wearing the Autumn People mantle. So yeah. Any other thing else?
No, I'm just
keeping watch.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with old Anne Murray.
Yeah. She definitely finds a place to sit down and have a few drinks of wine. Starts kind of relaxing a little bit once you get away from some of the people. There's a metal bench that's underneath one of the trees. The servants are kind of moving around, bringing glasses of wine to people or beer. A few hours go by. Several different songs are played. The musicians change out, and now you've got kind of a guy who looks like he's setting up a DJ station. Going to be playing a little more modern music, so that'd be nice. It gets towards about 11:30, and you notice that Bella St. Clair has stepped to the middle of the gathering, and she, raises her glass and kind of taps it with one of her fingernails, and everybody kind of turns and looks at it. Well, at least the people who are in the Devonee turn towards and look towards her. Sydney St. Clair, of course, being there as well. And she says, "If I can have your attention, please. I would like to thank you for coming to our little soiree. And of course, we will be here till the early parts of the morning. But it's almost midnight, and as you know, on midnight is the gift-giving time. So I would like, if you have a specific gift for someone, please go ahead and take it to them. And the rest of you will be receiving gifts from the anonymous pile that's at the gate. I'll have the servants distribute them to you." And so you notice the servants are coming out with these little packages and things like that, handing everybody a gift. It looks like everybody's gotten one, even the plus ones. Okay, everybody gets a gift. So your gift, when they bring it over to you, is this long box. It's really weird, and you're kind of like, who brings that to a gift, as a gift? So everybody gets their gifts and stuff like that. About 15 minutes it takes for everybody to get their boxes, and they're all wrapped and things like that. You do see your gifts. Did you relinquish your gift? Was that right? You do see your gift handed out to someone, and had you relinquished your gift too? And it gets handed out to someone as well. You're not sure who, but you do see it go out towards. There's probably about 100 people here. So around 11:45. Everything's distributed, and Bella St. Clair goes, "If you would open your gifts, please. So let's see what you've got. And please, if you want to, please share what you've received." And so everybody starts, untying bows. It gets a little noisy as people start untying bows and ripping packages.
People
Yeah,
sharing,
yeah, right. Well, no, I mean,
you won't see
I
everything.
got a rock.
Yeah.
You got it right.
I don't open mine. I wait for Anastasia to open hers.
Go ahead and open your gifts.
Throw it
Please
at me.
share what you got. This is
Anastasia opens hers, and it's this beautiful diamond necklace. Looks like it's probably several $1,000s. And she says, "Oh, that's beautiful. Would you mind putting it on me?"
Yeah.
And so she puts it on, and it's, it kind of comes around. It's got nice little diamonds. It's very pretty. And she says, "Oh, I love it. That's beautiful."
Let's say really brings out or you really bring out the beauty in it.
Something like that, right?
Yeah, something like
So
that.
smooth.
So smooth. And she smiles.
That really
and-
got us getting
Yeah.
lost.
Because really he's like, diamonds, I can
Diamonds,
use that.
yeah.
How do I get
Here, I'll
them?
hold on to them for you.
Yeah. The clasp is not all the way shut,
You notice that several people open their gifts. Some of the gifts are like little tiny boxes. You think they're maybe jewelry or something like that. Let's see. You gonna open yours, Bunk?
Of course.
You open this huge package, and inside is a trombone case.
That was specific.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
You gonna open it?
Suspicious.
Sure.
This is
Beautiful. Looks like a trombone, and you notice that engraved. There's a little engraved, placard inside the case, and it says Louis Armstrong.
Stop it.
He played trumpet, didn't he?
Trumpet, yeah.
But he also played trombone.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with that anyway.
We'll go with that.
My story. So yeah, it says Louis Armstrong. Darwin,
Wow.
you're over there, and Anne-Marie opens her box, and it's a picture of a young girl, dark skin, and she immediately stiffens and looks nervous. She says, "Oh my God!"
A black and white picture or like a
Black
color
and white picture.
Black and white, yeah.
It's a picture. Looks like someone took one sitting outside a house. Like someone was taking pictures. It's obviously not staged.
Right.
It's like a surveillance picture. And she says, she starts shaking a little bit, trembling. She says, "It's my granddaughter. They found her."
I don't know her family setup. Is this a good thing? This doesn't seem like a good thing.
No, it's terrible. I've been keeping her hidden so that they didn't know where she was. They found her.
This is essentially a threat.
Yeah, very much so. You gonna open your package?
Somebody doesn't understand what present means.
Yeah.
I think they understand.
How big is my package?
It's small. It's
Okay.
about this big. It's kind of flat. Looks like it
I'm
may
not
be a
sure
watch.
how big is it?
You can open it.
Find out later. There's it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna open it.
You
Gonna make
open
it
it,
grand.
and it's a sheaf of papers. And it's made out to this LLC, and it looks like bank statements, and it shows all these deposits, and the final statement is just over $1 million. You recognize where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Somebody's got the financial information on you guys' charitable LLC, which is a little weird.
I brought an actual gift here. I don't know.
These guys are jerks.
I feel attacked.
Yeah, I know, right? Mm-hmm. Volt,
I guess I'll open mine up.
you also find a bank statement from your LLC that shows exactly the expenditures and the money that's going in and out, stuff like that. So somebody has definitely targeted you with
And
that.
these are anonymous?
Yeah, nobody who knows who they came from. Well, who runs the party?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, they could.
Is she here?
Who, Bella St. Clair? Oh yeah, she's remember the one standing in the middle who just drew an order and had the gifts handed out.
I do want to hold up the parchment and just trying to catch her eye, like do a little spark burst on the parchment
And make it burn.
and stare directly into her soul.
I was thinking you were gonna zap her.
You're doing intimidation, right? Give me an intimidation.
Oh sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make a statement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, you can make a statement. Easy. Yeah.
Not hot. I'm gonna burn this to get a +2,
Okay.
and I'm gonna burn my super inspiration thing to get another +2,
Mm-hmm.
which will bring me to a 4.
Okay.
Because I rolled not so high.
Right. You are not sure you get much a reaction from her. She notices. Okay.
The biggest thing is her to notice.
Yeah, she notices, but she doesn't seem concerned, or she doesn't wink at you or do anything, smarmy like that. But she does notice. You do notice. You're sure she does. Miranda, yours is a bigger box. You gonna open it?
Am I noticing all of? I guess I wouldn't. Okay.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Yeah. I'm like, oh goody. I hope I
Sorry,
didn't
just
get
an
my own
upside down.
necklace.
Sorry, man.
You open it. No, it's not. It's not. It's a different package. You open it. There's this like little velvet box. Well, there's a wooden box, like maybe for a jewelry box or something like that. It's about this big. Maybe someone would put like a jewelry or a ring or a necklace or something into it. But it looks very old. Like a wooden jewelry box, not one like these little boxes like you buy in a store.
Like carving or anything. Is there anything in the box?
You open it.
Yeah.
Okay, you open it. Lying in the box is what looks like a straight razor.
For shaving?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. First thing I thought was just you're gonna open a little jewelry box thing, and it's just like a note saying "Stop giving diamonds to random people."
Yeah, you're flooding the market.
Does it look like an antique, or can I?
You get that feeling. It's actually got the little velvet, cutout in there, so the thing fits perfectly into the velvet cutout, and it looks old.
Okay, so it's just a nice antique, or am I sensing any sinister intent?
You're not
behind this
sure. I mean, it's just
Touch it.
it looks like a straight razor or something. Yeah, you're not really sure.
Edit.
Yeah. No sparks coming off of it when I touch it. Nothing like
Oh,
that.
you touch it.
Oh, do
good.
I? Yeah.
All right, I need you to make a discipline check.
No.
Okay.
I don't wanna.
You can do it.
Remember, I get to add a +1 when I'm doing anything to.
Right. No,
Aid
you
my
do. Yes,
friends.
you do. Yes, you do.
Is this really aiding us? I don't know.
If it's doing something not aiding you, that's well. That brings me to with my -1. Depending on whether or not it applies to the scenario, it's a -1 or a 0.
No, I'll let you apply it. That's fine. So it's a 0?
0.
Ooh, my. Alrighty. You have just been the recipient of a Strength 10 mental attack.
Okay,
Okay.
I have an armor +2, but I don't know if that applies to a mental
No, it
attack.
doesn't.
Okay.
Here's what happens. You touch the razor, and it's like it leaps into your hand, and you are standing there, and you're like, all of a sudden, voices start flooding into your head, and you've heard voices like this before, and it keeps telling you that you don't even have a real sword of the cross. There's only 3 swords of the cross. This isn't even a real one. You're obviously a dupe. Your church is full of pedophiles and people who are wealthy who take advantage of the poor, and so you just are kind of like, it's right. That's right. It's just terrible. I can't believe it. So now to soak this damage, because you've got what mental? It's a Strength 10 hit. You're gonna have to take. Oh
5,
dear.
4, and a 1.
No, she's gonna have to take a 6, a Strength 6, which is a severe mental consequence.
Okay, I have an ability called Desperate Hour.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're there.
Do I need to read that?
Yeah, go ahead and read it to me because I'm not sure
Yeah,
what it does.
in times of desperate need, you may call out a prayer and the aid from the divine. At any time you are hit by an attack that requires you to take a severe or extreme consequence to avoid being taken out, you may make such a prayer. And then the rest of it's just saying that you can also do it on behalf of someone else.
So what does it allow you to do exactly again? I'm sorry.
Avoid being taken out by a severe or extreme consequence.
Okay.
You may make such a prayer. You may also call upon this prayer in a scene where a friend or ally or innocent victim is taken out, forced to concede, or otherwise suffer a lasting, terrible fate.
Okay. I'll let you do that. You're not going to be taken out. You don't have to take the severe consequence. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're standing there and you've been attacked.
I do still take the severe?
No, you don't.
Do not. Okay.
Okay. You'll see why in a minute. All right. So Gabriel looks at you and goes, "Miranda, what's wrong? What's wrong?" And you kind of from this way up, this kind of muffled voice is saying, "Miranda, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" And you can kind of hear somebody saying something like that, and so you grab your sword out, your sword of the cross, and say, "It's all just lies!" And you slam it down on the ground, and the blade shatters. And everybody kind of looks over at you, and Gabriel goes, "Oh my gosh, what just happened? We got to get you out of here." And so he grabs you, and you can see he grabs his phone, and he's calling probably an Uber, and he grabs you and kind of wraps you up, and the straight razor kind of falls from your hand, and he's looking around, and you notice that the very pale woman with the 2 dark-haired guys behind her has just looked up in all of your directions. Okay, well, she's looked at you.
She sprouts 5 heads and looks at all of them.
She looks at you, and Swift. Okay, and she's looking around. But when she sees you shatter the sword, she gets this kind of little smirk on her face. Now you're just in the throes of despair. Okay, yeah. And he grabs you, whisks you out to this taxi and starts taking you home. Okay, the let's see, who has not opened theirs? You've opened yours. Have you opened yours? Okay. You've got a little small, look like a jewelry box.
But I didn't see this, right? Because I'm somewhere else.
No,
Or did
you
I
saw
see-
this.
Okay. Okay.
All of you saw, and you heard the ringing of the sword as it shattered. I mean, because it gives out this pure crystal kind of angelic
Right.
ring that everybody hears. The entire party stops and looks, and then wonders what's up, and yeah, that's it. Yeah,
The sword shattered, or
the sword,
Yeah.
the blade of the sword of the
Wow.
cross has shattered, which it's the only thing to destroy a sword is your sword, which is a sword of hope, is the opposite emotion to be wielded in opposite, which is despair. So there you go. Now, you have opened the box, right? Or are you going to open the box? These boxes are fun, aren't they?
Bruh.
You said I saw this?
Yeah, you saw this.
Bruh.
Yeah. Gabriel has grabbed her, has wrapped her up in his, kind of his coat, and he's
But, I
taking
mean,
her out to the
here's
taxi.
my question. Do I recognize that with what she opened is what caused this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because if it is,
Give me an
I'm
alertness
not
check.
opening my
Give me an
box.
alertness check. You're not. I'm not sure. Okay. You notice that
have
something in the box caused her to act that way.
4.
Yeah.
Plus 4.
Yeah, you notice that something in the box caused her to act that way. So she touched something in the box. In fact, you see her drop something to the ground, and besides the pieces of her sword, it looks very distinctively like what looked like a straight razor.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna open the box at all?
Not at all.
Okay. You and Swift and you are standing. Well, you're kind of standing across the room, and Bella St. Clair is kind of standing in the middle of the room. She's sipping her watching people open. Most
she
of the
the one
gifts
that's-
everybody seems to be having a good time
Is
with.
she,
Okay.
is she the one that's smiling?
No,
Okay.
that was the other woman who
Right.
had her mask.
Yeah.
She pulls her mask off, and her name is Lauren Scavis. Okay. She pulls her mask off, walks up to Bella St. Clair, and starts looking around. And she goes, "Code Dwello! I demand Code Dwello! Those who killed my brother Marcel! I demand Code Dwello! A duel to the death!"
I full on dragon fly down.
You didn't kill him.
Oh no, we were part of it, weren't we?
Was it me?
It was you, Swift, and Della.
Yeah, because I wasn't part of that.
Yeah, you were in the hallway, remember?
Yeah, we were
that's
just
right.
holding on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but we were the party who sacked the people. I don't know.
Yeah. So she turns
Never
and
mind.
She turns
I
and
don't
looks,
do
and
that
she
then, I
sees
guess.
you, and she says, "Warden, I demand a Code Dwello with you and your friends who killed my brother.
Your brother attacked us first.
Doesn't matter. I demand satisfaction." And so Bella St. Clair says, "Now wait. There is actually, I'm sorry. Sydney St. Clair comes up and says, wait. Code Dwello has rules. You can't just attack someone because you're mad at them. If you're going to choose a time and a place, and then those who are accused get to choose the weapons. So what is your time and place, Miss Scabies?" And she says, "Here, now."
You can objectify me as a weapon if you'd like.
And so you're standing there, and yeah.
You did that to my friend.
And she looks at you and says, "Then pull your sword and let's get started."
Didn't you have some kind of rules here?
And so Bella looks at you and says, I didn't
And
give her the
Sydney?
gift. And Sydney says, "Wait, that was your friend with the sword?"
Yes, we were promised a safe time here tonight.
And she looks at Bella and Sydney. Well, Bella looks at you and says, "I'm not sure who gave that gift to your friend.
Is that our problem? Isn't it yours? You invited everyone here.
If we didn't give the gift, I'm not at fault. Now, I can try and find out who brought the gift, and then you can take it up with them."
Oh, I think you should find out who brought the gift. In fact,
She says, "I'll do it."
I know who brought the gift.
Who? You point at Lauren Scavis. She says, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't bring any gifts tonight." So, but anyway, she's demanding code Dwello. You come outside, possibly, with Swift?
So outside of the to understand the code Dwello.
Yeah.
Is that basically like somebody threatening with a duel, like slapping with the glove?
Well, okay.
demanding that
Code
you do
Dwello,
it?
Code Dwello is, again, one of the rules of the Sealy Accords. If someone feels wronged by a party, they can demand a duel. And so the person who demands the duel chooses the time and the place, and then the
And
person...
you're obligated whether you were...
If you don't accept the duel, you're essentially saying that you're guilty, which means that the Sealy Accord says that they can do what they will with you, kind
Okay.
of.
All right, because I just want to because I came here and was told not to like make waves. So
Right.
Okay,
And so
all right.
you kind of probably
I
step out on the porch, and she goes, "And you two."
Could you challenge them to a battle? Man?
I mean, that's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say rap battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks at you and says, "You two, I also challenge you. And just because there's 3 of you, don't think that'll be enough." And you notice that the 2 dark-haired guys that are behind her kind of step up behind her. So it looks like there's 3 of them and 3 of you.
Is this how it goes? The rule you can have
It
3
can
and 3
be.
instead
It
of 2?
can be, yes.
Fine.
If you remember, in the Dresden Files book, there's 2 Code Dwellos. The first one was when Dresden was fighting. He was challenged to a Code Dwello by Ortega, Duke Ortega, the king of the Red... Well, not king of the Red Court. He was a Duke of the Red Court. The other one was when, ironically enough, Dresden and Ramirez fought a Code Dwello against 2 White Court vampires. One of them happened to be from House Scabies, and the other from Malvora, I believe. So just a bit of a parallel there. Yeah, so, yeah, she's demanding a Code Dwello here and now.
All right. So I look at you. Bring it.
Yeah. I
What?
mean,
We accept.
You're required to have seconds, and the seconds are supposed to make sure that nothing... that no one, cheats. Okay, is what it is. So you're choosing Bunk. You're choosing Volt, sorry.
I'm choosing Darwin because Miranda.
Yeah.
It's gone.
And so Swift is kind of looking around.
oh yeah. It's
Oh, I
just,
should have chosen
no,
Swift. I could choose
No,
Swift.
Swift is in the
Swift is
duel.
part of it.
Yeah,
He's
Swift-
part of the
that's right,
duel.
okay.
Remember, his arrow was the first one that hit.
Yeah.
And so Swift is kind of looking around, and funnily enough...
Papa Legba.
No. Maeve walks up and says,
Oh no.
"I'll be your second." And she kind of winks at Swift, and Swift is like, "Oh." And he says, "I accept." And she kind of gets this weird smirk on her face, and she says, "Trust me," and pats him on the cheek. "I'll make sure no one cheats." Oh, God. Now, what weapons are you going to choose?
My sword.
So physical weapons, which you can choose magic and swords and stuff like that. Generally, it's either something like weapons, magic. It can be will, or it can be something along the lines of whatever weapons are at hand. It's kind of flexible.
trombone battle is what I want.
Well,
Battle of the Bands.
Battle of the Bands, baby.
Yeah, I don't know that you really want Della on your
weapons
team
only.
for that. She's not so band
I
oriented.
may not do my. I'm gonna use
What
my
weapons
sword.
are at hand?
All my magic is like defensive, like the ice knives and knocking people down and whatnot.
Ice knives cut. Ice knives is how you killed Marcel, if you remember that. That's
that's
not
true.
defensive. That's an attacky thing.
Oh, then I'll do my magic then.
Okay.
I have
Well,
better
you can
stats
just
for that.
again, you can just choose weapons at hand, and that means that whatever you're carrying, you're allowed to use, which means your pistol is fair game. So and Swift, of course, will have his bow and his armor and sword. All right. Well, it is.
Well, can I use my magic and my sword? then?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay,
That's
I thought I had to
Absolutely.
choose-
Weapons
I
at
thought I'd
hand.
choose one thing.
Right. Now
Okay.
it is 9:10, so that probably means we need to stop there for the night. Now that I've got you guys.
Papa Legba be a weapon?
No.